My name is Zaire.
Gael.
Tiana.
Mason.
And I'm in grade 9.
Grade 10.
And I'm in grade 8.
Right now, I'm saving up for my first car, so that's definitely exciting.
I want to go on a cruise.
Me and my friends are trying to start businesses this year.
For university tuition.
We want comprehensive financial literacy education to be delivered to every young person throughout their high school, and so that when you come out of school, you've got a base level understanding of personal finances and being able to manage your money.
Everyone has a young person in their life. Go and tell somebody about it. Make sure they do it so that we're literally changing the country for the better. Hello and welcome to Super Insider, a podcast on investing, the economy, superannuation and retirement, proudly brought to you by Australian Retirement Trust. I'm your host and my name is Anne Fuchs, and today we are talking, funnily enough, about financial literacy and financial education for young people, a big component of what Super Insider is all about. Actually, it's what we're completely all about. And with me today is a very, very special guest and an expert on financial literacy and education, Katrina, CEO of Financial Basics Foundation. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on the show. And of course, before we actually get into it, this is general advice and general information only. And please remember, you have to think about if it is right for you. Now, you and I know, everybody knows that the more you understand about money, the better decisions you make. And yet here we are as a country and, financial education isn't part of the curriculum as it stands. Talk to me about what Financial Basics is and your big ambition for solving for financial literacy for young people in this country so that they do retire financially secure and well.
So the Financial Basics Foundation has been around for over 20 years, and our vision is for financial wellbeing for young Australians. And in that time, what we have done is developed a suite of financial literacy resources that we provide to Australian secondary schools so that they're able to provide that information to their students. So financial literacy is actually embedded in the Australian curriculum. But what that means is, it is a little bit confusing, because what that means is that there are elements of financial literacy that are delivered in the economics and business curriculum and in the mathematics curriculum. So for one student, that might be a lesson on interest rate, and for another student, they might do a whole term that covers basic financial literacy and money management in far more in depth. And therein lies the problem.
It's the inconsistencies.
It's inconsistent, it's not comprehensive, and one school may do something with a whole cohort, another school may not. The other thing about delivering any element of financial literacy in mathematics and economics and business is that for many young people, these are electives, so they may not get it. And as we know, mathematics, for some young people, that's not the subject that they find their strength in. So they're immediately disengaged because they see mathematics has a focus on formulas and calculations, and that's not what financial literacy is. So it's really challenging when that's where it sits in the Australian curriculum.
Before we started recording, we were just talking about the curriculum, and I have 3 teenagers, one's just started uni, 2 in high school, and how they're still doing longhand calculations, and we've just recorded a podcast on AI, and computers can do everything, but they can't help you make really good decisions ultimately. And so explain what you're doing with teachers and how it kind of applies to young people.
Yeah, so financial literacy is actually a set of behaviours and attitudes. There is definitely a knowledge component, but it's about the attitudes and the behaviours that we make around managing our money. And we see that as a life skill. And we're really excited that schools and teachers are really starting to focus on the well-being of their students, and that financial literacy is being developed, or we're certainly creating courses to be delivered in that well-being concept in the school timetable, because we know that that's where schools have some space, unlike economics and business and maths curriculums that are overcrowded. In the well-being space is an opportunity for teachers to deliver lessons to young people that really help with those life skills.
Yeah. So what percentage of schools across the country, is it just the public sector schools, or what percentage? What are we looking at?
We have over 2,000 schools. That is 80% of every school in the country is touching one or more of our resources.
Cool.
We have 12,000 educators. So we know they want to be teaching this, and we know that they are looking for good resources to be able to teach it. But as I said, some of the issues that we have in delivering financial literacy is that it's inconsistent across schools, that there is a lack of teacher confidence. So often a teacher who may not feel confident in their own personal finance is not going to be wanting to deliver it, and that the material is often written for maths and economics, and that we want to write to wellbeing and life skills so that any teacher, the PE teacher, the English teacher, can pick it up and do it in that life skills timetable.
Okay, and they can do that whether you're in an independent school, a state school, a Catholic school. This is available for everybody.
Absolutely. All of our resources are mapped to the Australian curriculum, so it makes it easy for the teacher. They can use it in any subject, but it's free of charge to any Australian secondary school or community organisation that works with young people.
And we know, certainly at Australian Retirement Trust, those members that pay attention to their super and do take those extra steps, like they manage their cash flow so they can afford to save a bit extra, making voluntary contributions earlier, the power of compounding interest, these things really, really matter. Are there any kind of stories or anecdotes around this education where you've seen people change their behaviour off the back of it that's going to make their life better in the future?
Yeah, we had an amazing story recently from a young person who is in year 10, and she was participating in the Cashed Up Holiday Hustle. So we're taking the Cashed Up program that we're delivering to schools with the support of Australian Retirement Trust. But what we've done, because it's a new program and we know that not all schools can deliver it immediately, we've decided that we're going to run it over the school holidays for any young person who may not be offered Cashed Up in their classroom to be able to come to Financial Basics Foundation to do it with us. So we have a holiday hustle and we'll run those at every holiday opportunity. We did the first one over the summer holidays and we had a 15-year-old who completed the setting a financial goal template, a SMART goal. So we work them through, their values and their needs and wants and all those concepts around money, and then we talk about SMART goals. And her goal was to raise $7,400, quite specific.
Very specific.
For just before she started university, so she could start university without the stress of having to deal with the finances associated with having to have a job and managing all the extra expenses that are going to come along with starting uni. So she wanted to have a savings plan in place that would allow her to have $7,400 ready for when she starts
that she
uni.
can live on.
Yeah, because that was so important to her to focus on her studies that she didn't want to worry about the financial stress. And that's what we know that financial literacy does. Improving and building financial literacy early helps you shape that financial well-being and resilience throughout your life.
There are these new sort of products and concepts that exist now that didn't exist when we were in high school, with Afterpay, and people can get access to debt. It can result in just a spiral and could impact someone's whole life.
Correct. And that is the converse of financial literacy is the financial illiteracy. So we know that young people are navigating a digital landscape as far as their finances goes. And we know that all the barriers to spending have been taken away.
Well, when you tap, you don't even know what this concept of having cash where you're handing money over.
Correct. So the principles, the behaviours and the attitudes, whether it was 50 years ago when we had cash or now, remain the same. So the important attitudes and behaviours around active saving, restrained spending, budgeting and living within your means are so critical, and that's what financial literacy is, and that's why it makes such a difference to somebody's financial well-being and, as I said, conversely around their vulnerabilities or their propensity to debt and risk if they haven't had that information delivered to them early on.
So what's the difference between what, I guess, Financial Basics Foundation delivers versus the specific Cashed Up program?
Yeah. So we're so excited about Cashed Up because it's actually a result of the 20 years we've been working in the space in addressing all the barriers that we know exist to delivering financial literacy education. So Cashed Up will be 6 comprehensive courses delivered in Australian secondary schools. We've released 3 and the 4th one, which is about building your wealth, will be released next month.
I guess they're learning about things, the difference between cash and shares. Do they learn about compounding interest?
Absolutely. That's a core fundamental skill that we know that they need to learn, again, in a number of those courses because it's about the ability to make your money make you money. And that's, again, it's an understanding, it's a concept. You don't need to know the formula for interest to be able to understand how important compound interest is in your financial plan.
A lot of our listeners and viewers, Katrina, are members who might be in retirement phase already, and they're probably really keen to see their grandkids or young people in their world get access to this. How do our listeners and viewers actually join the dots for this program in their life so that they can encourage the young people to go and do it?
Probably the easiest way is to go to our website, financialbasics.org.au. We have the resources there actually for parents and carers and young people directly, and we will be providing these courses to young people directly. But from there, they can also encourage their schools to sign up to Financial Basics Foundation. All of the material is written by Australian educators. It's all mapped to the Australian curriculum. It's independent. It's credible. It's really important information that anybody can access free of charge.
So if the foundation, if we go to 2030 and, you've been around 20 years, if we add another 5 years, what do you think would be some of the attributes of society and our community if this thing really takes off?
That we no longer still come out of high school saying, I never got taught that. When it's about money, when every single young person has a relationship with money, we want comprehensive financial literacy education to be delivered to every young person throughout their high school, and so that when you come out of school, you've got a base level understanding of personal finances and being able to manage your money.
Are there any anecdotes or observations around gender take-up as it relates to young people engaging with this, or you feel like the gender thing is becoming less of a thing over time?
A bit of both, but where building financial capability sits, as I said, outside of the formulas and calculations is the confidence. And that's why it needs to be started early, and it needs to start with a conversation. So where any young person, male or female, is confident in their ability to ask the right questions or knows where to get the right information, they will be in a better position in the long term. Our research shows that it's not the knowledge piece, it's about having the confidence and the context. So young girls know the same answers as boys around money, but they think about it in a different way. They think about it more socially. They think about it in context with their friends and their own lives. So we need to have those conversations with girls in the right context for them. We definitely need to be encouraging them to lean in more. And hopefully this type of education shows them the value of that compounding effect and that ownership and the empowerment you have when you have financial resilience and well-being, because that allows you to make the choices that you want in your life.
Most people just see what's happening in the family home through their mum or dad. Maybe that's not always a good thing. And we know that too many Australians, particularly women, are retiring financially vulnerable. So I'm kind of optimistic. I see young women these days and they're a force to be reckoned with. And so they probably should be feeling a strong call to action if you want to be empowered and a strong sister and be able to afford everything you want to afford. You kind of need to do this program now.
Absolutely. That is certainly our vision, and that is certainly one of the objectives is that those conversations and that building the confidence and the line of sight on what it means to have those systems in place, to have that superannuation in place early and building and contributing throughout your life, to have that opportunity to build wealth and to know what that means to your life. Learning that simple concept that actually allows you the freedom to do what you want. It doesn't restrain your lifestyle. It allows you to have the lifestyle that you want when you have the skills and the behaviours in place to be able to live the life that you want.
Yeah, and make really good decisions. Unlike me when I was living in Sydney and 22 and back then it was that, I call it the visa, that where you was a piece of paper and you just didn't even know if you were over your limit and you just keep wanting to hang out with the girlfriends and then all of a sudden you've got too much debt and you need to pay it off, and that's something I wish I'd had some education about in my early 20s, because we didn't get that education. So kudos to what you guys are doing.
And we're really in a consumer-driven social media market. We know that they're encouraged to spend, and we spoke about there are no barriers to spending anymore. So that concept of budgeting and living within your means, simple behaviour, it doesn't matter whatever system you use, whether it's cash or digital, but you need to have a plan for your spending.
Congratulations to everything you are doing, you and the team. And certainly Australian Retirement Trust is so proud to be able to play our role.
Thank you so much. We are so proud of this program. This course, Cashed Up, has been a culmination of our 20 years of experience in knowing all the barriers to delivering financial literacy education. So we hope this takes us to the next level in that every young person has financial literacy education in their high school.
So I think the call to action for our listeners and viewers, everyone has a young person in their life. Go and tell somebody about it. Make sure they do it so that we're literally changing the country for the better.
Absolutely.
So listeners and viewers, you've got your homework. Thank you for tuning in. Tell your family and friends and give us a rating wherever you consume your podcast. And we'll look forward to you joining us again soon.